Hey everybody, it's me, it's your girl Kayray. I know you're all probably like, where the hell have you been on YouTube? I mean, I've been posting stuff on every other social media platform. I've been a little MIA on YouTube and I apologize for that. We just wrapped up season 1 of Anarchally. Everyone has been showing so much love and support. I haven't even gotten a chance to thank all of you, so thank you so much, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, giving us all this love, giving us death threats for not posting it on time. Season 1 has been a success and has been recognized in so many different ways in so many different media outlets. We're honored and I'm so glad that everyone enjoyed the series. We just wrapped production for season 2. I know, that's why I've been hustling and grinding. We will be releasing early next year. I'm not gonna say a date, but let's just say January. So if you haven't watched Anarchally yet, what the hell are you doing with your life? YouTube and chill and watch Anarchally. I don't think people realize I actually, from episode 4 onwards, was editing Anarchally. Because Punjabi Mime Through Time took off on its own shimbang, we were like, okay, we have to release Anarchally because people are watching, so we ended up releasing the series when we only had the first 3 episodes done. We're shooting simultaneously while we were editing, so I'd be editing like 20 hours on one episode. The next day we would release it. Next week shooting, so it was a lot of crazy stress and work. So if you think I haven't been releasing stuff, I was releasing. I'm basically managing 2 channels, y'all. It's all worth it. Everyone was being so supportive and everyone's enjoying it, but just stay tuned. I went to LA a couple weeks ago and you know how I feel about LA. I got a chance to screen Ananki at Sicklands Film Festival. I will be posting vlogs on that. I know I've been delaying on the vlogs, but y'all know how it is. I've been wanting to put out Italy vlogs as well. I don't know how many UK vlogs I put out, but Italy vlogs are coming soon and those ones are a lot of fun. Can't wait to share those with you. And Haiti vlogs, of course, and LA now. So there's a lot of things I still have to put out. I'm not just working on vlogs anymore. I'm also working on actual videos and skits. Really excited to release. There's a lot of new content that's coming in the next year. Several different projects that are going to be a lot of fun. Woe's video, and I got a lot of love for that, so thank you so much. Couldn't put it on YouTube because of copyright issues. It's on Facebook, so if you haven't watched it already, please go check it out. This past month has been super hectic. Just personally, I went through a lot of stuff and emotionally, and I felt like it was time for me to just sit back and like absorb all of this until I put something out. I really felt the need to address an issue that was close to my heart. Today is actually National Day of Action on Violence Against Women. So I felt the need to address a personal incident that I went through, and it took me a while to be content with the situation until I can move forward and address it publicly. Okay, so before I get into what happened, I want to a bit of a trigger warning for anyone that's ever been sexually harassed, been bullied, have been triggered in any way, some sort of violence, whether it being abusive, mentally, emotionally. This video will be talking about those issues. I want to allow you to like end the video now. If not, continue on. So last month I was added into a WhatsApp group with over 20 guys. I don't know any of these guys, just by association with other people that I've worked with. The name of the group was Get In Rai equals Best Actor. The group's icon was a picture of myself in Iraqi, also known as Miss Mutta. I was basically virtually attacked by these guys. Like, I wasn't gonna address this through the internet because like initially like I was told like I should because I have the power to and all that stuff, and I think that's why I ended up doing this. But initially I was just like, no. Like when it happened, I was super angry. I was with my cousin and my mom, my aunt, my pua. I just couldn't believe that like this was happening, so I couldn't even react properly. When I was in the car, I was with my mother. Like it's like the worst thing possibly to happen to you while you're with your mom. I've never been talked to this way and I've never been disrespected in this way. I think the worst part of it all was they added me into the group. They kind of just threw me in, said all this like horrible stuff that you just don't say to women, and then just threw me out like it meant nothing. Really just was like, hey, should we throw her out? And then like just threw me out of the group and removed me. Didn't even give me a chance to speak. That kind of stuff happens to someone. you don't know how to react. And I'm the type of person that doesn't take shit from anyone. I think like in the last few years I had to be really politically correct with a lot of things, but if anyone knows me from high school, y'all know how I was, and I did not take shit from anyone. I think I've always allowed things to happen to me and kind of been like, okay, no, there's worse things that happen to people. I wouldn't really talk about it, and I bottle things up a lot. I've gone through so many traumatic situations in my life that I wasn't able to address ever. I've always suppressed my feelings, but whenever something happened to like a loved one or someone I cared about so deeply, even people I don't even know, I've always been fighting for them. So I feel like this isn't even about me. Talking about something that I know so many girls are probably dealing with. Like, if I have this platform, I'm able to talk about it. I guess like I want to use this platform for that reason. For someone that hasn't really talked about personal issues, I owe it to myself almost to do this. I also owe it to all the girls. It's in our blood, like literally, to be always protecting our men and protecting the image of our men. Of course, the media messing with our image when it comes to Sikh and Punjabi identity. I've done as much as I can through all the work that I do to protect that image as well. You can see that through Gitpa, you can see that through Ananki. Even though addressing issues that are solely on Punjabi women or South Asian women, speaking from their narratives, I also want to be able to tell the stories truthfully, but in a way that's still protecting our men and not harnishing the image of our men. Stuff like this happens to you, you feel so betrayed. It's because I've done nothing but to protect them. And these are the same people that tell me, oh, there's no such thing as violence against women in our community. Like, talk about issues that are real. It's not about strangers doing stuff like this. This happens literally in the comfort of our own homes. We need to have an outlet or a way of addressing this issue. It's like, how else are we going to talk about it or start the conversation? We're just in denial that it's even happening. Like, I was told by a family member that I wasn't allowed to talk about this, or I shouldn't even talk about it, I should just move forward. And they were trying to look at, I can protect myself. Like, that's something we're always taking in account, especially, you know, being someone that now, I guess, am in the public eye. I all of a sudden have to be more aware and have to be more protective of like my family. The fact that I have 2 older brothers that will literally rip anyone apart. I don't talk about these things that like what my family is capable of and who I am in the community. For someone who is always been well respected, has always worked with the community before this internet thing even started. I mean, this only started a year ago for me, but like I've always been putting, you know, stuff within the community, whether it being through organizing, whether it being working with volunteers, whether it being through addressing different issues. Even in high school, like everyone knew everyone. I still have those relationships with those people. So it's like I've never been so disrespected in my life. And like even my family, who's really well known in the community, just because I don't talk about that on the internet, you've only seen one side of me. So these guys are acting like literally I'm just an internet girl that they can just attack and do this to. People make it sound like this is what comes with the territory. I don't believe that. It's unfair for us to sit there and be like, okay, well, you know, you chose this life. This is what's gonna happen to you. No, I did not. Just because I use the internet as one outlet of how I put out my work doesn't mean that I'm allowed to be not only attacked on the internet, because the internet is one thing. You know, you get the mean comments, you get the hate. I've always just focused on the positivity. I feel like those people are just trying to fill a void in their life, and they just feel the need to be like, okay, well, everyone else is loving this person. I want to say you suck for the sake of making you feel like shit because they feel like shit in their life. But it's one thing to do that, and then to actually go and have access to my personal information, my phone number, and add me into a WhatsApp group. The audacity of that. I guess I can go into a little bit of a background of why I think this happened. Over the summer, I worked with a security company, was hired to direct a commercial for them. My cousin, alongside, was also working with the security company as their female security guard, and she also was hired as a makeup artist. I was traveling throughout the summer, as y'all know. She apparently did not get paid for her makeup as well as security services. Long story short, she kept calling me about how she wasn't getting paid and she felt like really humiliated because every time she went back to the office, she wouldn't get her paycheck, and they just kept making her feel like shit about it. Obviously, me being the protective older sister I am to her, I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And she's like, they said that I was supposed to pay her. Every time I would talk to the guy that owns the security company, he would be like, oh, don't worry, so-and-so will figure it out. But then you're telling my cousin, who you don't even realize is my cousin, and is gonna come back to me and tell me this, that I was supposed to pay her. So it's just a big, huge miscommunication and a lot of like shadiness. What if it wasn't my cousin and it was someone random? This whole like money situation, which got out of hand, I ended up speaking to him personally. I guess we just got in a really big argument. Another person that was on the phone call said that they would make sure the guy that owns the security company would apologize to me. I never got that apology, and then 2 months later I was added into this WhatsApp group with employees that work with security company. So when I talked to the person that owns the security company, he told me that he had no control over his friends and that he had no control over his employees and that he had no idea that it was happening. I'm sorry, for someone that owns a company, your employees and what they do outside of work also has a huge reflection on the company you own. So if you're saying to me that like this is the behavior that you can condone, then that just shows me what kind of company you have. I shouldn't, or anyone else shouldn't be hiring this company for their services, because this is the kind of behavior their security guards have, and like they think it's okay. Regardless of even if that situation happened or not, like I'm not even justifying why it happened, or like it just doesn't make sense that these guys think it's okay to talk to me this way. I also realize that it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, this can happen to anyone. And I think that's what's the most scariest thing. It doesn't matter what family you come from, it doesn't matter about what community you come from, who you were in that community and what you've done. This can easily happen to anyone, and it can be really traumatic. As I'm not going to go on to say what if this happened to your sisters or your girlfriend or your mother, because obviously all of you have that. At the end of the day, a woman doesn't need to be your mom or your sister for you to respect her. I've been told not to talk about it, and obviously y'all know that I don't listen to anyone. Even if you think about it, like women are constantly being harassed all the freaking time. It's like a day-to-day thing for us. Like we don't get a chance to talk about it though, and it's like, oh, but these aren't even real things. Like for example, a woman could be walking down the freaking street and being hollered at by a random guy in his car, or a random walking into a superstore, and all of a sudden like this guy's like following you and eyeing you or making you feel uncomfortable. Why are we always having to feel the need to be okay with that? If you don't give these guys attention, or address that they're doing this to you, they all of a sudden feel like they can attack you. It's not okay. Making it seem like as if we're doing something wrong because of something that we are wearing, how we're acting, or what time of day it is. It doesn't matter when it happens. Obviously incidents where uncles are, in your house and doing the same shit to your daughters. Instead of pointing fingers at our daughters and our sisters and our mothers, we should be pointing fingers at our sons and our fathers and our uncles and our freaking cousins, because those are the ones who need to be notified and told like, hey man, you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you shouldn't be making women feel so uncomfortable. You need to check yourself. We need to tell our men to start respecting our women instead of telling our women they need to protect themselves. We should be able to do whatever we want, whenever we want, dress however we want, talk however we want, do whatever we want. And I know a lot of dudes that are also in the public eye, but they don't experience this stuff. They don't experience it to this extent where they have to be fearful of their life and their families. A lot of guys are gonna look at this and be like,
I'm not that guy. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't talk to women like that. Well, you have friends that do it.
why aren't you stopping them? You are also being a bystander and watching this. I think what didn't bother me so much is like the guys that were talking shit. Like they obviously, there's the 3-4 guys that just constantly kept saying stuff, but it was like the 15 other guys that didn't say anything about it. And these are the same guys that won't do shit all in person if they're on their own, but obviously when they're with a group, they act like freaking barbarians. They can't handle an empowered woman. They can't handle a woman with a voice. They can't handle a woman that's starting to address issues and putting our men in check. I feel almost quote unquote blessed for this to happen to me, because now I can use this as an opportunity to address this conversation. I think that's what bothers me the most, that so many girls are going through this right now and they have no one to talk to about it. I think if you know someone that's going through this, or if you yourself are going through this, do not just dismiss this and not acknowledge it. Find ways to better our community, move our community forward. These are things that shouldn't be happening anymore. Like, it's just getting worse and worse with the internet. If you yourself are going through this, don't feel or hesitate that you can't share these stories. And if you're someone that knows someone that went through this, you need to be there and open your arms and just listen. Listen to someone that's vulnerable. And that's one way for them to start their healing process. Another way is obviously going through therapy or always being shamed. Talking about mental health issues, whether it being depression, whether it being anxiety. I think we live in a society. I could easily put out these guys' numbers, butcher their lives, but I didn't. There's no point of fighting fire with fire. I just want to send a positive energy and also strength to anyone that is going through this. If you're being bullied at school, if you're going through anything at home, at work, feel that you're not being protected, I am sending you so much of my love. And I know that's not enough, but I hope this video is able to uplift you in any way. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Stand your ground, okay? Make sure you fight the fight. Always just keep it going, alright kids? Just love yourselves and protect your energy. Do what is right for you. Don't always feel like you have to protect other people's honor. Protect yourself. Protect your honor, okay? Don't worry about anyone else. This is about you. Do that, okay? Don't hold back. I'm giving you so much love right now, okay? Just fight. You can do it. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.